Hey guys, Artie Klein, Average Picker. So this is a quick little video I'm throwing together to try to answer a question about picking from the ledge, especially on these like schlegs when you're a beginner or whatever. It's really not that bad. I know the tendency is you want to try to come in here, and this leads to people going to like 15 thousandths and stuff like this. But you can just rest your pick right there on the ledge, and you can get, with a little bit of tilt, you can get pretty easy access to the pins actually, okay? But what we're gonna do is kind of look at one of the pitfalls, and we're gonna look at it using the most bajankety setup you've probably seen in a while for this, but hopefully it'll explain. The short answer is you get your line on that first pin, and just remember you have to hold that line, okay? And that can be hard to do because, we're people and we're really bad when it comes to 1 or 2 degrees, and there is not a lot of room to play around with in here. So that 1 little degree off or whatever starts to add up. But just hold your line. Get on that ledge, hold your line. But I'll show you what we mean here in just a second. Okay, so this is my great modeling job of what that little ledge is going to look like. And so remember, you're kind of looking at it down. You've got this other little piece in here. It's going to stick out, right? We're going to take that out of the equation because I just want to show you what I mean about holding your line. So when you go in, you're going to, it's very wobbly because, great expense here. So when you go in, you're going to be able to hit that first pin, right? But that's what's going to happen. As you go in further, you're still going to be holding straight up here where my finger is. Or it's going to look like you are, but you're actually getting further and further and further back off that line just a little bit. But it's enough that if you're going under and trying to come up on the pin, what you're going to end up doing is hitting that warding in the lock that's hanging out. But as long as you can hold that line, you've got a little bit of wiggle room. You just hold that and you can get in there. This might be easier for me to hold it this way just for the sake of this tutorial. And you can keep your lifting going all along it. Okay, so the pins are supposed to lift, so don't fight it. Most of the time when you're having trouble with this or you're running into it, you are probably, on a lock like this or something. So it's not like a challenge lock, or it's not something crazy where everything's going to be binding up and you're going to have to be really pushing. So yeah, when you give a little lift, if it doesn't seem to be giving, realize you're probably just banging that warding, and just come back out. Just withdraw the pick, reset your line, right? And you're going to be hitting at a little bit of an angle on it, but for the sake of resetting it, you can't just come back, push it into where you need it, and then just kind of rotate it in and get your lift going. So, anytime you run into a problem, the pin's not going up or you're not sure, just bring your pick back out. Reset your line and go back into it. And it'll get to be pretty second nature after a while. But I just wanted to show you that's what's probably happening, is you're going in and you're thinking you're still pretty straight, but you're off just enough that you're banging into that. Because remember, if you're trying to pick from down here, you have so little space. What people are doing 15 thousandths even isn't enough. They're going to 13 thousandths trying to bend around this. But yeah, you just go in there and hold that line. You should be able to hit all the pins. So, if you have to reset by coming in and pushing on both of those, pushing against the bottom and on this side bit to get that line straight, just ride that in and then kind of dip in on it. And yeah, it'll become second nature after a while. So, I know some of these are a little bit worse than others. Some are a little bit steeper, but it's the basic principle is still the same. You can get in there surprisingly well by off of that ledge. Okay, now I don't want to create a case where I'm going to cause you to overthink it, but you do though need to be aware, because you're picking from somewhere on this ledge, you are picking from up closer to the pins, and that does mean as you get further back, it's going to become easier and easier and easier to bump other pins with the rest of your pick. But on a lot of these kind of standard beginner lock things, and remember that's what we're talking about. We're talking about in general here. But on a lot of these, that isn't really an issue. You've got enough room to play with that you should be able to just get in there quite comfortably and not have to worry about it too much. But just bear in mind, it's a different size lift than if you're trying to lift from down at the bottom of the lock, because you are already starting, part of the way up through that keyway. So, yeah, don't overthink it. Don't, over worry about it. Just remember, get on that first pin. You can see yourself doing it. And anytime you get a little lost on it, don't fight the warning. Just if you feel like you're getting lost on it, even if you're not, just if you feel like you are, just withdraw the pick, reset your line, and go back in. And you should be able to do it pretty easily after a little bit. So, all right. Anyway, I hope that helps. So, talk to you later.